Hello, Angela Meiritz-Reid here, Stampin' Up demonstrator based in Christchurch, New Zealand. Today I'm sharing with you how I created this card for the Global Design project, and it's a sketch challenge. I've created it using the Create with Friends stamp set and also the Give It a Whirl dies. These hearts are from there. Also added a little Tammy bow. Tammy was an artisan last year with me and she created these lovely bows, so I thought I'd add one to this project. All the products that I've used are available at my online store and will be listed at the end of this video. Also, a PDF tutorial is available via my blog. I'll add the link to my blog in the description box. To start, I've got a Highland heather card base. So I'm just going to fold that in half and use my bone folder just to burnish that edge, give a nice sharp crease. And the next layer I've got is this piece of striped paper, which is from the Altogether DSP, which is available. It's full of lots of lovely black and white images, stripes, all sorts of beautiful designs that you can colour in or just leave as they are. And there's a whole bundle to go with that. So I'm just going to pop that in on at an angle there. And then I've got my next layer, this white piece here. And what I've done is I've added adhesive sheet to the back of it. Now you'll understand why as we go through when things start getting stuck down. Because the window sheet's going to go on the back of that. And I've also, just to take away the plainness of the white, I've just flicked some of the black ink from the Stampin' Right marker, and I've used the brush end. If you like it plain, then just leave it plain, or you could also pop it through an embossing folder. That would look nice, the Tasteful Textile. So as much or as little as you like. I don't want too much, that should be okay. And then I'm going to get my heart dies and die cut this. So I'll bring my machine in. So I've placed one at the bottom, which is about fairly close to the bottom and the edge. You do need to leave a little bit of room because you're going to need to add some dimensional foam there to raise it up to create it into a shaker card. I'm just going to run that through there. I'll just take it back this way. I find it easier to work from right to left. That heart just pops out of there. You can use those for something else later. And then this one here goes about here, and just doesn't really matter where you pop them, just whatever suits. But this is for, as I say, for the Global Design projects, and it's a sketch, so we've sort of got a bit of an idea where things are to go. Let's take it back again, and the last one just popped up here. Take that through. Right, so we've done that. So what I'm going to do now is turn it over and take off this adhesive backing, and then I've got a piece of window sheet that's exact same, well, it's about 1 millimetre smaller, just so it doesn't poke off the edge. So I'm just going to take, I did do a bit of a patchwork here. I had little bits of adhesive, so I just patch them together on the back of here, but it won't matter, it just takes time to get them off. But take my pick tool, take your pick. Works really well, just lifting that off. Then you just want to pop that over the top. So it's close to the edge. Tricky to get that down. If it does just go over the edge a bit, you can just trim it down, or it won't in fact be seen anyway when you pop it over the, because it's clear. And then the next thing, and this is a little bit tricky, so I've got, you can use the foam strips that Stampin' Up sell, or what I did is I got my dimensional sheet and I just trimmed off a very fine strip along the edge, because there is that whole area in there that's just extra around the edge, so that works perfectly. So just take off one side, the adhesive. The other side probably will come off as you work around it. So you just want to carefully take it around. See, it is coming off the heart. Just upsing. This takes a little bit of patience and is a little bit tricky, but it's worth it. And what I'm going to do there is just cut that off and take it up this way. So it's easy just to butt another bit up. I'm going to do the same here. Take that around. So it does bend reasonably easy, and then you just want to butt that up to where you finished off. And poke and prod a little bit. It's reasonably forgiving. Just going to do the same on this one. You want to take it too close because you don't want to be able to see the white really when you've got your other layer on. Probably is easier just to work without that top. You could even use tweezers, that might be to manipulate it. So it will stay, even if you've touched it a few times, it will stay reasonably sticky. So it's a little bit fiddly, as I say, but obviously, at least with it being a window sheet, you can pull it off. Don't want any too big a gap, because you don't want your sequins that we're going to sequins that you put in to disappear out. Probably easier shapes to use, but it's okay. I might save that for later if I need it. Last bit up there, take that backing off. Let's tuck that in there. Trim this last bit here. Oops. Oh, that's not going to matter. I might just leave that there. So we are going to have to add some dimensionals to that anyway. Just tuck that in there. If you've got any handy hints on how to do this a little bit easier, I'd love to hear them. Actually, another option, just thinking about it, is you could use the adhesive foam sheets and you could die cut those in the same place. I wonder, it would be quite thick, but you could put your white cardstock, your window sheet, then the foam adhesive, and die cut it all together. It may work. You might have to go through a few times just to make sure it cuts through, but that's worth trying, worth giving it a go. Hindsight's always a wonderful thing, isn't it? And then just want to add some dimensionals in here. So now everything's stuck to me. Just add, you want to add a reasonable amount because you don't want it sagging. Just tuck those in here, add some more. So that would alleviate having to fill this area, and actually if you had the foam adhesive sheets. So I might give that a go sometime, see if that will cut through all those layers. Or if you did a bit of a template, that might work so that you didn't have to go through the whole amount of layers. You know, the whole amount, that doesn't sound very good, does it? The 3 layers. Right, so it's all good to go. So now what we want to do is, I've got these Sparkle and Shine sequin. Get rid of all my mess. And I just want to pop some of those. So I've got this little heart, actually, something just so you can get them into that. Into there. You don't want too many, but you want enough to not too measly. It becomes a good shaking amount. And just make sure, I did have some that were stuck together the other day, so they wouldn't sort of very flat. And that's okay. And then they do have a tendency to stick to you too, but staticky. Then we're going to add the sheet of, this is the Ombre specialty paper. So depending on whether you want light to dark or how you want to go, I'll do the dark at the bottom. These extra ones floating around. And then just tuck that. Stick that on the top. And then hey presto, it's good to go. I don't know if that's just my glue rubber. I don't know if it's a bit of glue. Yes, it is. I was a bit worried I'd smudged some of the ink. Okay, and then the next thing I'm going to do is add, so there. Sometimes I need a bit of shaking around. Then I've got this is the Fresh Freesia ribbon. It's really pretty, and just to make it look like it's a bit more movement and body, I'm just going to cut that right through the middle. It's just got that light weave in the middle, so it won't matter if that's uneven. Tammy does hers a little bit differently without all the ends, but I haven't quite mastered that. So what I'm going to do is just add the black twine to that. I want to mix it around a bit, and then put, doesn't really matter where you can move it around if it's not in the right place anyway, so I just want to make sure those ends are even. You can have a wee play around with it once you've tied your bow. Pull that all through there. good firm, get all my bits in a row. Tug. A bit smaller. Doesn't really matter too much. I want it to look like it's a bit organic, not too prissy. Let's trim those edges off a little bit. Okay, that's good to go. And then what I'm going to do is add that to the front of the card. Let's play around with those a little bit. Really want to bring that through there a little bit. Right, that's okay. So what I often do is just line it up on my grid paper just to make sure I've got it lined up evenly. And then I'm just going to add some glue to the back of that. And then I want to add it to the card base, and I want it to be straight. That's okay. And just to, you can always just add a heavier block just on it, just to, so it will sit there and not move while it's just adhering. And then what I'm going to do is do the Celebrate You. So we've got these two, and I've got my block. And I've finally gone and got a new embossing buddy. So it does make a bit of a difference, I've noticed. My old one was very old. I think it was an original from when I'd started stamping. So on, that's going to be fussy cut, oopsie, and put that up there, put this out of the way. Just add my white emboss powder. There's a wee. Sometimes those specks just stick, don't they? Right, I'll just give that a heat. That won't be a moment. Okay, looks good. Just get that out of the way before I spill that. It's not helpful having that all over your desk. Right, so just bring in my fine scissors, my paper snips. Take that off for now. I'll come back and trim that up in a minute. So this, you don't have to be too fussy. You can take it in as close as you like. Just sort of swoop around. If you didn't want to, you could just cut it in a rectangular shape. I just didn't want to cover up too much of the card. Or you could just choose a smaller sentiment. It would work. I don't worry about going right in there. Just tuck round. It is one of those things, the more often you do, the easier it becomes. and I always find just leaving that gap around the edge gives a little bit of room for error. And then with the U, you can just trim it down with the trimmer, or just it's fairly small and straight. Looks fairly a bit crooked, but that's okay. It'll be fine. So I'm just going to add some dimensionals to the back of those, and got some here. So I'll just tuck those on here. I'll just use a half one. Half ones are good for these sorts of things too. Just tuck those in there. Should be okay. So take that off. Just roughly work out where you want that to go. And then the U, I'm just going to tuck that down the bottom. And then lastly, I've got some of these. I've run out of the small ones now. I've used them so much. I love these black dots. Just add a couple of these down here. And then just take one. I want to come up over here. And there you have it, all done. So thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this card, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. And if you'd like to join on with the Global Design Project, we'd love to see your creations. Thanks again. Bye for now.